Hi friends, and welcome to today's episode of pianoTV. I am Allysia, your host, and sorry if you hear that like clunking noise. I don't need to emulate it, you probably hear it. It's the laundry because it is right next door to my piano studio. This is going to be somewhat of an unconventional video. The spirit moved me today, and instead of doing a standard video that I plan out in advance and outline, I wanted to do like a jump off the cliff style video. And I want to take you through my process of writing a song. I haven't premeditated anything, so this could be a really interesting experience. I might write a terrible song, and I won't know until this video is over. But I wanted to just kind of have you tag along for my process, which is going to be going on off and on all day. Hopefully by the end of the day I'll come up with a draft of something. But today is Friday, which is when I usually film. My husband's home, I have a baby to look after, and there's things to do, places to be, people to see. So it's gonna be kind of like, I'll randomly be filming throughout the day. A couple caveats before we get started. First of all, I am not like some wonderful, amazing songwriter or anything like that. I have experience being in a rock band for many years, and I wrote music when I was a kid too. So what I do is I'm a singer, and I usually do backup keyboards as well. So the kind of music that I'm going to be helping you write is going to be like mainly based on creating a melody, creating a vocal line, creating lyrics, and then also creating a simple keyboard part in the backdrop. When I write music, I always envision it with a full band in the background because that's just been my writing background. So I don't expect it to sound 100% complete the way I write it today. But what I hope you're going to get out of it is a sense of how I string parts together, how I organize things, how I work out lyrics and melodic kinks, anything like that. And again, I have no idea what I'm going to write today. I would say that 1 out of 10 ideas that I write are actually good, so this could be like one of the 9 out of 10. In fact, it probably will be. It'll probably just be some random garbage song, and I'm not going to take this process too seriously. I'm not going to try to write the best song ever. And as far as style that you can expect, it's probably going to be like in the pop genre. Like I said, I am in a rock band, so the type of music that I write is usually more on the emotive side. I think this is going to be a difficult video for me to film because I usually write emotive lyrics that are maybe a little bit more vulnerable as opposed to just like la 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 happy happy dance party music. So expect something maybe with a little more mood, but it kind of depends what I'm feeling in the moment of the day. So anyway, with all of that said, let's almost get started. One more thing before I hop to the piano and just start doing this. I have 3 tools. One of them is coffee, which I've already almost finished. One of them is my phone, and I'm going to be using this to record as I go. It's very important to record as I go because I like spending the first part of writing a song just like brainstorming ideas. And if I have a good idea, I like to record it so that I don't completely forget it, and then I can move on to another idea and do the same thing. And then by the end, hopefully I have like a dozen random sound clips that I can start piecing together into a song. The other reason I like to record is because it helps me work out melody lines when I don't have to also play the piano. And a notebook, of course, to sketch out my ideas. I don't usually write much down aside from words, lyrics, and chord symbols sometimes, or an intricate pattern that I might forget unless I pen it down. So let's do this. I'm just starting by doing a bit of noodling. We'll see if it leads anywhere. Too cheesy there. Some things I'm already noticing is I'm jamming in D minor, which gives me a sense of what chords I'm moving towards. going to the G major chord. It's a little too pop ballady. I'm really liking the sound of this. It's an A minor chord with a D as the bass note. This is the vibe I'm feeling right now. I'm working with the same chord, just blocking in one hand. I'm trying to work out a melody. The times when I'm making random melodies, sometimes I'll just do gibberish words, and sometimes those gibberish words will actually make their way into the lyric if it kind of works. So this is not where we stop and someone out you. When I start drafting the lyrics, I try not to think as much as possible. I try to turn off the logic brain. And just kind of write. I don't even try to make sense of what I'm writing at first. That can come later. I don't like to judge my words and scratch things out too soon because I think that restricts the creative flow. So I just throw down on the paper what's kind of, I don't know, it comes from a deeper part of me that like is something deeper than just my casual surface thoughts. And the only thing I'm really looking for is flow, like in rhythm. And I look for rhymes a lot at this point too, just because rhyme is a part of flow. And that's just the things that I'm hearing first. Again, so like first draft stuff gets refined. At this point, I'm just kind of wandering around trying to make a little bit of sense of the lyrics because I feel like I've written the first half of a verse and I want to do the second half of the verse, but I have to start decoding things a little bit. If I'm starting with this old thought, I've said a couple times, now what is that thought? And I have to kind of unbury that and unpack that a little bit before I can push the lyric forward. And in typical fashion, the first verse looks very neat and tidy, and then things start getting real scratchy real quick. It's almost like a choose your own adventure book. I start going in multiple directions and have ideas for multiple verses because I'm a really big fan of patterns and stuff. So I like to use, so for example, I have the line, what if I could change the score? But I also have, what if I could write the story? And I think that both could have a use at some point. So that's, I don't know. It kind of starts looking like code at this point. I also don't like making parts identical. So if I'm doing the second half of the verse, I want it to be a lot the same, but a little distinct from the first verse. And I feel like it'd be better to get a little bit more rambly, and that's what I'm playing around with here. So if I go, what if I could change the score, swing the scales, break the door so intricately, intimately wrapped up in love and war, let it through. Hi. So I've been feeling like the second half of the verse is building into something, and I've been practicing that build. I've got a lot of repetition and I like playing around with opposites when I'm writing. Is living more than dreaming, is speaking more than screaming. It's almost like implying that, I don't know, that dreaming is a superior state. By the comparison is speaking more than screaming. It's a more energetic state is kind of what the comparison is, and I like that. And I keep going with those, I'm getting excited about this idea now. I keep playing with those opposites to, I don't know, create like a dichotomy. But again, I don't want to think about it too much, and it's ironic because the song is starting to turn into the, I don't know, the downside of thinking too much. So I'm building, let it through, is living more than dreaming, is speaking more than screaming, is habit kill a feeling, does thinking build a ceiling, and all these walls, It's funny because I'm literally, since I'm holding a baby and trying to write this at the same time, I'm literally only able to do very basic fifths in the left hand, but it's enough to start, it's enough to create a structure to start building a melody within, and I can go in and make it more detailed later. Details always come later. I'm starting to fill in the gaps a little bit now, so instead of just doing open fifths, I've just taken it, I've simplified it in the left hand to do single bass line notes, and then the right hand is filling in with chords. It's to slowly start creating a bit more detail and shape. With like a mini build where I'm creating that shape here, and I'm trying to do it subtly the first time, and then I can do it a little bit more pronounced the second time. Something like that. And then maybe when I reapproach it, and maybe the second verse or something, I can kind of make it more dramatic. I could even do like full 3-note chords. I'm not sure what chords would really work here. Oh, that's so low, I might move it up an octave. Let me try that again. I'll do G chord there. Too much, but so I just wanted to check in. I'm about an hour into the process, and this always happens every single time I write a song. I've hit the point where I no longer like my idea. I'm starting to I don't know, the magic's worn off. I'm starting to see all the problems, all the flaws, and this is usually like where 90% of the time I just like pack it up and never touch it again. But that's not what I'm going to do today. I'm going to finish this today. We'll see how it goes. I needed a break, so I just started making myself a matcha latte, an iced one, because you guys, it is super crazy hot out today. It is like, I don't know, the heat wave has hit Saskatchewan, and yeah, I just wanted to drink some lightly caffeinated beverage thing and think about the lyrics. I'm still on the hunt for the old thought. What is the old thought? I don't know. I'm still on the hunt for it, but we're leading into, this is going to be interesting because this song isn't going to have a chorus in the traditional sense. It just doesn't feel right, and I don't have a better reason for why I'm not writing a song with a chorus other than it just doesn't feel right. When I'm ending with and all these walls, I feel like I'm going to say that a couple times and just let it trail off, and then maybe towards the end of the song I can imagine that building into like a, I don't know, like a 1-minute conclusion climactic part, which would fill a role of a chorus. It just won't be repeated. So yeah, just drinking some latte, pondering the lyrics. So I'll explain some of my code going on here. So I have that weird lyric kind of over on the side, and there's that gap. I'm not sure if this is going to fit, but it was an interesting thought I had. Cinderella in the Morning is kind of like implying a transformation, like you're going from something magical to something plain. And it also used to be my favorite movie for a long time when I was a kid, so it has like a personal relevance. But the other thing I wanted to share is one thing I do when I'm writing lyrics is I often say them out loud to feel, like say them, not sing them, just to see how they feel rolling off the tongue, like if they have a nice cadence to him, because lyrics are like a blend between, I don't know, they're sort of like poetry. They're like toned down poetry, so they should still sound good when you're saying them. So I'm thinking like, what if I could write the story with ups and downs and love and glory, Cinderella in the morning, anything but ordinary. And it's kind of a weird rhyme, but when you're writing lyrics, I feel like you can get away with rhyming something like story and morning, because it's not a true rhyme, but I don't know if you'd call it like a partial rhyme. It has a similar sound, similar enough that if you're singing, it still binds together and works. And if I'm being totally transparent, I have been snacking out hard. I don't know, let's give my brain some carbohydrates to function properly. But I have snacked on a piece of dark chocolate. I've had this latte. I had like a couple pieces of candy, and I'm not even a candy person. That's just what's happening right now. I switched piano because the baby's gone, so now I can be loud and obnoxious. And that's what I'm playing around with. I'm playing around with builds and just like letting it rip, and it's making jamming fun again, to just totally change the vibe, throw a little more energy and spice into it. So I'm playing around with my second verse. I've shortened it because I don't think I need to do like a double length verse. I feel like I can condense it to half the verse size. That's my weird Cinderella verse that I haven't found a solution to, but I'm starting to warm up to it. What if I could write, what if I could write this story with ups and downs and love and glory? Cinderella in the morning, daylight breaks another morning, another war. Transition into is living more than dreaming. How did I was making up a rhythm for that. But belting it out like that again is kind of like refreshing me. I don't know what I'm gonna scrap and what I'm gonna salvage, but yeah, that's where I'm at now. Or maybe what's really giving me energy is this caffeine. After that build, I don't want that to be like the moment of the song yet, so I want to bring it back down. And I feel like it really needs to be scaled back for a moment, so I'm just doing some like sustained chords, and I think that'll fill the space a bit. One of my favorite types of chords. They're called polychords, and it's when you blend two chords together that don't normally blend together. And the one I'm playing around with here, it adds an interesting vibe. So I'm going from just like a standard D minor. Then what I'm doing is a C major chord in the right hand, but an F chord in the left hand. Is that beautiful? It's a little unexpected too, and it's the right feeling. That's kind of what I'm going for. So, and I do it twice. A minor and an F major chord together. They're very similar chords. There's only one note difference, which is why they blend so nicely together. Love it. One thing that I have a tendency to do when I get in like the last quarter or third of a song, like the last minute or two, is I just get the temptation to jam it out. Instead of, writing in little 10, 15-second chunks, it's almost like every time I play through, I do something a little bit different until I finally find the path. And I don't know if it's just because I get lazy, maybe that's some of it, but I also think that when you're writing, especially rock music with a band, it's fun to find little pockets that can be jammed on when you're playing live. And I've found a couple pockets here that lend themselves to improvisation, and the more I play it, the slow, like it's eventually starting to take shape here. So I have my pretty chords. Like that, and then I thought, what if I added like a soft vocal line in there, a really, really simple and clean vocal line to contrast the like epic ones. How did I do that? Actually, I think I might scale it back, and instead of doing like a big epic thing at the end, I think I might just, I don't know, go a little more minimalist, because I feel like my tendency is to go big or go home, and then, I don't know, just make everything really epic. But that isn't always, like sometimes holding back makes more sense than, I don't know, going wild. So I'm thinking when I go back to this part, I'll just like bump up the energy, but only do it once. So instead of going, yeah, now I'm conflicted if I do. It's living more than dreaming.
if I like double it up like that. Either I'll double it up or I'll just do it once, the louder version. And I think again I'll just kind of trail out all these walls. Maybe that part twice. I want to get back to the can't let fall. I wonder if I just kind of like disintegrate and like almost mantra like, can I let it fall over and over? Does that sentence kind of like sum up the song enough to turn it into a mantra at the end? I'm really gonna need to comb through this and fix up the lyrics, but that is where I can say there's like a loose structure at this point.
So I've been working on the official second draft of the lyrics. They have a little bit more shape and law and order than the first draft. And I'm really happy with how it's going because I've gone in kind of a reverse direction. A lot of the times what I'll do with a lyric is I'll find hope at the end. So it'll start questioning and then lead to like a better revelation or something good happening. Whereas I've kind of gone the opposite direction. I've started with questioning, and then with each progressive passage, it gets darker and darker until the conclusion is not a good one. I don't know what else to say, because I have what I'm calling my chorus, because it's the only part that recurs. It starts with, is living more than dreaming? Is speaking more than screaming, etc. It's basically just asking, like, is towing the line better than passion? I don't know. I hate decrypting lyrics because it always makes it sound super cheesy, but that's sort of what I was thinking. And then the second time that chorus comes around, it's if living's more than dreaming, if speaking's more than screaming. It's kind of like, what if towing the line is the right thing or whatever. And then the third time we hit that point, it's saying as a statement, living is more than dreaming, speaking is safer than screaming, and so on and so on. So I kind of like that. I don't know, I took this in a dark direction, all about like keeping I don't know what to title this though. So it's like the whole point, I fell in love with the ceiling and all of these walls, and I'm not going to let them fall. That's kind of like the whole idea. So what do I title this? The whole, like, all the imagery was reminding me like of like a little kid's drawing of a house. So I don't know. calling the song Drawing of a House seems pretty dumb. So I don't think I'll do that. 4 walls seems kind of limiting because I keep saying all these walls. Well, why would I suddenly call the song 4 walls? And if I call the song just walls, I think that's too vague and too obvious. Sorry, walls, 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 walls. Say it 1,000 times, you lose the meaning. What the hell do I call this though? At this point, I'm taking my new draft of lyrics, and for the first time since I started writing, I am going to play through like the whole thing. And what I'm going to be doing with this, is looking for structure. And I'm going to also be looking for any parts that need like fills, any parts that feel clunky when they're strung together. And once I get a good enough draft of the piano part, I'm going to record it. And then I'm going to start recording the vocals. I find recording to really help me refine my ideas. It's not going to be anything beyond like a good draft. It's not going to be a final copy, but again, it helps me think. What do you think? Does it help you think too? Yum, yum, yum. Yummy camera. Oh. Yummy camera. Just to show the process. One thing I forgot to mention is, one thing I like to do when I'm recording is also play around with harmonies. I always hear, there's two other band members, not Michael. Michael's not a very good singer, sorry Michael, can do harmonies. I usually do a lot of harmony work with my guitarist. So that's kind of how I think when I'm writing. I'm thinking about harmonies, and I just feel like adding harmonies to the melody makes such a difference in terms of richness. So if you heard that, I was adding harmonies.
Gonna record it one more time. It's kind of sloppy and all over the place.
Also, my voice is kind of dead at this point, so let's see if I can get this out. video. This has been a much more trying day than I anticipated when I started the day. I was like, woo, fun, I get to write a song. And it totally was fun, and I'm really glad I did it, but it was also a lot of work. I basically spent, I don't even want to count how much time I spent on it. It is a rough copy, and that's the thing with writing music, is it needs, for me anyway, when I'm writing, it needs so many passes. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to my band and jam it with them. I have no idea when, because we all have kids and things are complicated. But once we start polishing it with them, I might do a part 2 of this video, just so you guys can have like a follow-up to see how it evolved in the very capable hands of my band. Because I feel like I can do a lot with melody, I can do a lot with lyrics, but in terms of making like the music really awesome, that's where everyone else kicks in, and that's where I'm the weakest. So I hope this was a fun video for you to watch. I'm like it's super hot outside, and it's just super hot in this house too. So I'm sweating. Plus I've been yelling, singing for a while, so that makes me sweat too. But yeah, I hope that you found something useful in this, or just like found it interesting to see how I go about writing a song. And yeah, I feel pretty productive today. I've written a song and I've made a video for pianoTV. I'm going to stop talking now because my voice is gone. Catch you in the next video. Trying so hard to grab it. You can do it. You can do it. Whoa. Uh-oh, better let it go. That was good grip.